just said, okay, it says the host disabled participant screen sharing.
So maybe I can solve it.
I think you need to be a co-host to screen share, maybe.
Yeah, I'm a co-host because I can record, but I don't see an option to give you a way to share the screen. Dan, can you share me the slides maybe, and I will share it?
I'll go get either Tivo or someone to maybe help us. Hang on.
Yeah, I can't share the slides. They're not in a format. They're in Keynote and I have to port them and all that. So I can't do that right now.
Okay. I'm a co-host, but I cannot assign you as a co-host as well. So
yeah. Okay. Well, maybe, I mean, we can do it, save it for next time. And we've only got what, half a dozen people here now. So
yeah.
But I did want to have kind of consistent start. I thought maybe that if we have a consistent presence in the breakout room after town hall, that we would just have a regular place, hopefully that the DAO people could come to on a consistent basis to do two things, basically to have a discussion around, general discussion about DAOs and what's going on and you know, just sensing of what, you know, what's going on, and then having sections where we do presentations of those people who want to do something and to focus the discussion. So we have kind of a divergent discussion and then a convergent discussion.
You can share screen now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, okay. I can see which screen I'm sharing. I don't know exactly which one. Let me try this. And then I'll try to play. You guys seeing my screen at all?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let me just try this play. Okay, are you, oops, are you seeing? No, it just stopped. I'm screen sharing. What are you seeing now?
A lot of windows.
Okay, I'm gonna share a different screen. I better stop screen sharing now.
And it's funny because you're running Mac, but you're still showing Windows.
Okay, I'm gonna have to learn how to do this better because maybe I have to just select a different screen to share. Maybe if I do this one, and then share. And now if I press,
Now there's a dude.
what are you seeing now?
So maybe what you meant to share. Yeah, you can see slides. Collaboration for community DAOs.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you see only the one slide.
So yeah, now
Yes,
it's
now it's
fine. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I just am learning how to do this. So I'll just try to go through my presentation and just, you know, let you guys know what's going on here. I think, you know, I'm welcoming everybody. This is a new challenge. We're started in Fund 7 and then skipped Fund 8 for unfortunate reasons, but it's being reintroduced in Fund 9. We've got $1 million to fund your proposals, and we're planning an after town hall meetings like this every Wednesday to keep the discussion going around DAOs in general. You know, this challenge team, I think, sees this as a place to for ongoing collaboration in the DAO space. You know, for those who are committed, it would be great to show up every week so that we have some consistency and can start seeing the synergies between the projects that are out there and things that are going on. The purpose, of course, is to ultimately to organize. I mean, DAOs, what DAOs do? They help to organize and amplify the impact of human collaboration. So there are many different parts of it. There's on-chain parts and off-chain parts, and the elements of a DAO, I think, are are in lots of different areas, but our overall purpose here is just to coordinate human behavior within DAOs, and in particular to catalyze the Cardano environment and the Cardano community to become as known as kind of the place for safe and stable spaces for establishing sustainable DAO organizations. Let's see if I can change slides now. Oh. Why is it not changing slides? That's weird. You're still seeing the same slide, right? I can't advance the slides. Are you all still there?
Yeah.
That's weird. I can't. I hit the advance button and it doesn't do anything. Maybe it's another.
I will check the recording of this. I will need to drop out and join another discussion. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, goodbye, Tommy. Here.
Okay, there we go. I just have to click on them on the screen. That's okay. So this this main question, I think the big question that really fascinates us all is really how can we collaborate to establish more impactful DAOs in the world? And this is really having a community to coordinate itself. It'll probably start out very difficult by, you know, like herding cats. You know, we don't know what directions it's going to take, but I think know it's all possible because, you know, collaboration happens naturally and quite easily. It's, you know, happening right now. The best evidence is here of us who are kind of coordinating ourselves. So how can we build environments to make collaboration happen more easily and frequently and successfully? I think DAOs exist in a spectrum. There's DAOs all the way from the money DAOs that started with, you know, Bitcoin basically, and there are coin DAOs, and they move to DeFi DAOs, and then corporation co-op DAOs. I think now we're moving toward what are called community DAOs, and this is where I think Cardano is probably best to focus, because community DAOs will encompass all of the other elements of DAOs. I think this spectrum is that on a scale, you know, there's the scale on the left that goes to serving individuals, and then stronger, the other spectrum is serving the community. The one thing I'd like to say about communities, about DAOs in general, I think the bigger picture, the big vision for DAOs is that there are basically human coordination around human interests. We get people to coordinate themselves and organize themselves around what are their interests. And these interest groups and these DAOs can be inherently more planetary and democratic and egalitarian and collaborative and productive and economically fair, efficient, ecologically sustainable, supportive. And these DAOs are kind of replacements for the old ways of governing ourselves. Governance, corporations, even kingdoms would be considered governance structures that were all very hierarchical, but we're moving to ways in which you know, DAOs will replace those governance structures. So the elements of DAOs, I think, are quite clearly working around collaboration. How do we trust? How do we establish trust and inspiration and exchange and assist? All these are human qualities that we need to kind of encapsulate into what DAOs are all about. So as far as what we're doing here in these breakout sessions, these after town halls, is we're going to have a conversation every time we come. There'll be a DAO after hall, these conferences in order to kind of establish conversations. And they'll be split into two parts. We have a discussion Miro board, which we'll bring up in a minute and show you all. And we're going to have during those Miro board sessions, we're going to have community discussions that go on over that Miro board to try to capture the discussion. We have a Telegram group that's used to capture ongoing discussions in this community. And then we'll have one focused presentation each week on what specific projects so we can focus on certain specific projects, and we just register that interest to present every week on the Mira board. Ultimately, the goal here is to build good DAO projects and put them onto the IdeaScale platform to get them funded. So we're trying to engage the Catalyst community and establish community intentions for how we're going to move ahead with DAOs. So then we will go to our Mira board session and start our discussion. And once we finish that, then every week we'll go to these weekly presentations and have maybe 45 minutes or half an hour for maybe the initial discussion, and then half an hour for presentations. So that's all I have to say. That's how I think we should move ahead with organizing this. What do you guys all think? Is that a helpful organization, do you think? We've only got half a dozen people here now. We can probably discuss it a bit.
Yeah, I think
guess-
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess it would be interesting. Is everyone here funded proposals? Is that what they're here for, or personal interest? What's people's participation here?
I think, you mean during this particular session, or you're
Yeah.
talking in general?
Yeah.
Well, in my particular case, I'm one of the challenge team members, and we're trying to organize a place for us all to kind of coordinate ourselves. I've come to Cardano from, personally, I've come to Cardano from other blockchain projects in the ESIO environment for several years, developing DAO-based systems, and I want to bring those the experience that we've had to Cardano. So that's my reason for being. Maybe we could go around the room and just introduce ourselves, huh? Harsha, you want to go?
Sure. I'm Harsha, and I'm from India, but I live in the US right now. And I'm one of the team members in the challenge for DAOs Love Cardano. And today I just really want to explore what proposers really want from the CT team and how we can help you go about proposing and collaborating best. Oh, that's all for me.
I go next. I'm also part of the challenge team, and I'm also a funded proposer for the previous round of the challenge in Fund 7. And yeah, I'm here, to hear other ideas later on, not for now, but later on maybe to show my own. And I think then that yes, this could be this breakout room after town hall can be a good platform if it be consistent, and it can be a good platform for collaboration, for communication between those who think to propose for this fund, others are just interested. Maybe a team can emerge from this meeting. So I think it can be very beneficial for the community if we continue with that.
Good. I agree with you about the consistency. We need to have some place where everybody can come, and basically attracting, I mean, the town hall meetings of 100 and, maybe as many as 200 people can always know about what's going on with this. So this, I think it's good. I think it's good.
One more note, I saw that there is another room about DAO incubators by Logan. So maybe to reach out to him for next town hall, for next Wednesday, and to merge those two breakout rooms, because it seems like there are overlaps actually.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't see that.
Yeah, hi everybody. I was wondering if I had to join the other DAO room or this one. My name is Izzat Begum Rajan. I'm based in Paris, but I've been wandering around for 2 decades before relocating where I was born and raised. Last country where I was Kenya, before that Cameroon, Mali, Gabon, Denmark for 5 years, and previously in the UK for a few years as well. I'm interested in contributing to potentially writing a proposal about DAO I'm an international tax attorney, so I'm looking at it from the legal perspective, how to make it stick basically in the real world. So it's more about, I would say, the bridge, so the interoperability part of how a DAO on-chain could exist in the real world.
Very good.
So important. I'm very happy to hear, to meet you and hear your idea. I really hope to see it come to fruition in this round.
It's a very broad subject, unfortunately, and because unfortunately, as in there's so much to cover. I have a client, actually, a company that I'm helping that is in the Cardano ecosystem, etc., that has put to me the question, how do we set ourselves up as a DAO? And I'm like, okay, that requires about 6 months of research so that I can give you the best answer. Because the closest thing that exists today legally is a foundation, which is why we have the Cardano Foundation in Switzerland. But it may not be the optimal one, and we may be able to do something hybrid between what is available legally for the not-for-profit legal forms and a commercial one, because the not-for-profit are very heavy, I find, in terms of governance and rules of functioning and decision-making processes, etc. Whereas in the commercial world, the legal forms allowed to use are very flexible. You can be a lot more agile. So I'm trying to maybe think in terms of hybrid. How can we find a legal framework that would allow agility, collective mode of governance, so that we don't become a mammoth when Cardano becomes a DAO, a global DAO, and where not only do we exist on-chain with agility, but also in the real world, because interoperability is what we're aiming for, right? So it has to work everywhere, basically, including on Mars, if one want to be there one day.
I came to the blockchain ecosystem from cooperatives. I established and work in some cooperative, and I know that they can be the framework, the legal framework in some legislation area for DAOs. But for sure, right now, most of regulators don't know how to deal with DAO, don't know how to treat this new creature. And it is a big challenge for us and for regulator and for legislator how to treat this new way of cooperation without harming its potential. And I really
you mentioned that you were working on a report. Is that report going to be private for your customer, or
it's in my thesis? I'm doing a PhD thesis. I'm an international tax lawyer, so I'm writing on the legal and tax frameworks of crypto assets, trying to focus on utility token. And part of that is going to be, part of my thesis is going to deal with DAO.
Okay, fantastic.
Cool.
I think a lot of people in this community would be interested in that thesis. So
thank you very much for not adding any pressure.
No, just out of interest, of course, as readers and consumers. So.
Thank you.
In adding to your comments about legal framework, I was in the Wyoming Cardano Summit last September, and there was Wyoming has introduced a legal framework that they call DAOs. It's basically just an LLC that they've added some kind of qualities to. And there were some attorneys. I live here in Boulder, not too far from Wyoming, and there's some attorneys here who also spoke at that conference, kind of complaining that LLC structure for DAOs was really inadequate. And they were proposing more that there would be legal structures based more on the co-op model. So I think, Aaron could probably inform us a little more about that. I'm not familiar with that part of it, but I'm very interested.
Just dropped in the chat a link for interesting article about the potential connection between cooperatives and DAOs. You can.
Thank you very much. So there's a lot for me to learn and then to think about. Thank you.
Maybe we could have some more introductions. I'd like to hear from other folks here. Jodelle, do you want to say something about yourself?
Yeah, how do you hear me? Oh, am I unmuted?
Oh, no, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Well, I've been kind of in and out of this stuff for at least the last year. I started in Fund 7. I did a project last spring and worked through the fall with it, and it didn't go where it could have. Right now, I'm actually working on getting my plane going because I'm going to be doing some video shooting and somehow incorporating that into an NFT project, ideally, where people are put into the plane and they get little fun things. So that was something fun that I've been doing. But in the last couple of days, I've been talking to some guys basically about security with NFTs and onboarding. And, I can't really talk too much about it because I was kind of come to an agreement with the guys I talked to that we don't talk about it unless we're together. But that's a project that I think is going to go quite far, and we're definitely working on a proper proposal for that. So you're going to see that coming. Hopefully, we're going to start being able to talk about it publicly pretty soon. The flight stuff is kind of, my personal hobby. I'm a pilot and a heavy equipment operator. I worked for many years in a gravel pit, family-owned one, and that come to an end. At the same time, I started getting into cryptocurrency and understanding the Cardano ecosystem. So that's I haven't really done a whole lot of high productivity stuff, but I've definitely been here and I've learned a lot, and I think you're going to see a little bit more of me over the next little while if things go the way we hope they do.
Do you plan to submit your proposal in the DAO challenge?
I'm not 100% sure where we're going to put it yet because it's probably 24 hours of back and forth. It kind of come up a couple nights ago, I guess you could say. And
Yeah, of course, it takes time.
yeah. Now, I don't know if the creating the video flight experience thing that I was working on prior makes sense for a DAO, because that really doesn't fit into that category, does it?
I don't exactly know. You'd have to try to define that. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't.
Well, so how long ago? Oh, March 17th, the day after my birthday, we did a live stream flight. Some of the Catalyst guys were in there. A few different people were there. Some of the Social Bees DAO was there. And what we did was we live streamed, and then what we figured out is what we could do is now we've done telecommunication now, where you can literally use an AR version of someone and bring them into your house. And it's like, the stuff that's available is super cool. But yeah,
I'd suggest maybe if you'd like to make a proposal in the DAO space and you want to present that, you could register to do that here in this space. And we're going to try to have half an hour for everybody, but it should be in the DAO coordinated. You have to choose the challenge you're going to go to, and if it's in the DAO space, we could have a presentation here. So maybe we should go on to the other introductions. Harsha, have you talked about yourself yet?
I think if you've got a community behind you that you want to engage with the operation of an organization, then you've got yourself a potential DAO there. So if you've got other people working on this project and you can see a community needing a legal structure or organizational structure or some sort of people together structure, let's put it, because not all those things are fully organized, then you kind of start to be in the DAO space. But if it's just you doing a project, it's probably less likely to be a DAO.
No, so I had probably about 5 different people ready to go in it because there was no way to fund anything that to help them. I just said no, and we left
But
it.
you see it
I
as a
had people-
growing, you see it as a growing thing, or will it always be kind of those 5 people trying to?
So I see it kind of turning into more of a platform to provide flight experiences with education,
Yeah,
where they kind of learn parts about airplanes. So then I believe it could go into not just me, but other pilots, other flight schools. And then it's kind of evolves into a virtual flight school in a way. So that's where it would be more of value in a DAO, I would think, because
So
then
yeah,
it would grow.
it might not fit into a DAO category, but there could be a category if you can draw a nexus with the Cardano ecosystem, then you
Right.
might be able to work out a way to get Catalyst funding. But if there's no need for a blockchain, it's harder to get Catalyst funding, basically.
See, what would you need the blockchain necessarily for?
You'd have
Right, you wouldn't. What my thought would be on that, because what would you need it for?
do you want
Other than the
to
gates,
let's jump out to one of the open rooms. Let's go to open room 3 and I'll have a chat with you.
Yeah,
So if we go to breakout room 3,
open room.
because
Right.
it's kind of off topic for the DAO, I think. So let's.
Yeah, I think so too. I just kind of showed up here.
That's all right. So
Okay.
we'll jump there. Sorry, guys. You guys can continue.
No, thanks, Phil. Thank you as well. And I see that Logan has joined us. We merged the 2 breakout rooms about DAOs, I see. Yeah, you came with your flock?
Great. It's good to see more people here.
Yeah, hey, Logan, you're
I
muted.
forgot I was on mute. How's it
Yeah,
going?
yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
Clint, Justin came for sure. No, I'm super excited to have this challenge setting back. I'm very passionate about DAOs.
Yeah,
Very
we know.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so my name's Logan. I guess a little bit about me before I talk about what we're building. I recently graduated from Stanford University. I was a professional soccer player, but I fell in love with Cardano and decentralization. So I just quit to try to build on Cardano. That was about a year ago. And right now, me and my team, we're working on building DAO infrastructure. It's called the Clarity Protocol. So essentially what we're trying to build is what we are building and will build is a library of smart contracts wrapped in an easy to use interface so that anyone can create a decentralized organization, set their governance rules, have proposals submitted and easily voted on chain, and then also manage the treasury through these votes. So we're really excited to bring that to market. And I think it'll do a lot of good for the community, just enabling all these people with different ideas for decentralized organizations to be able to get them off the ground. But yeah, you'll definitely see a few proposals from us in this challenge. I guess we need the funding to make it happen. So.
Nice.
Good. Does anybody else want to maybe introduce themselves who hasn't spoken yet?
Yeah, I'll go next. Hi everyone, my name's Clint. A little bit about me, just I've actually been involved in cryptocurrency since 2013. Originally I was a miner, and then I quickly figured out that I could make more money selling miners than actually using them myself. So I set up a company called iBoot, and we started selling miners. For a long time I did that. So I was working with Bitmain, Rockminer, an American company called Gecko Science. They make little USB miners. You might have heard of them. I actually also invented a 49-port USB hub, which is a massive USB hub for industrial people to connect lots of USB devices. Some people are like that. And yeah, so I was doing that for a while. And then I was a speculator in cryptocurrencies and an investor. And then now I'm a builder. So the last couple of years, I've actually been building projects on Ethereum. And then I guess I'm part of the big migration now to Cardano. And we just set up a new project called, yeah, this is definitely a better chain. I prefer it here. And we set up a little project called Tangent. It's an NFT project. We're trying to merge NFTs with real world assets and give some new utility to NFTs, I should say. And in that, we're doing a little NFT launchpad, and we want to also sponsor artists around the world, especially in, you know, third world countries, providing them with the tools and the equipment so they can make digital art. We recently did it with an artist in Japan. And then, yeah, when we were thinking about that, we thought, you know, this really should be a community-led project, and we want the community to have a voice, you know, and which artists we're sponsoring, what kind of products we're launching in the NFT Launchpad. So we needed a DAO, and then that's how I've come here now, you know. So, you know, there's so many applications for DAOs, and yeah, if there was an easy to use, you know, plug and play system for our team to do the governance that way with a DAO, that would be amazing, you know. Then we can spend more time on the NFT side of things. So that's me. Thank you.
Very good. Anybody else want to voice their opinions and introduce yourselves? Tigegni, I saw you raise your hand there.
Hey, good to see you. And familiar face from front 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, please. We cannot hear
You're
you.
muted, I think. We can't hear you.
Still don't. There is some technical issue.
Well, you're working on that, Tigegni. Is there anybody else that I see? Randall's here. Are you hanging out and want to talk and introduce yourself, Randall?
He put in the chat he can't because tech issues.
Oh.
And then Lynn is on a plane.
Okay.
Justin, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. I'm Logan's co-founder. I'm working on Clarity with him. Yeah, I've been in the Cardano space for about 1.5 years. Studied computer science, and during my final semester of that, I found the Plutus Pioneers program. So kind of got introduced to Cardano through that, but now doing a little less technical stuff and doing a little more community building type stuff.
Great. I also see Sheikh Javid. Are you around and want to introduce yourself?
Yes. So actually, I'm in Cardano space since 2017. So then, and I did this. I was community advisor in the last fund, and I'm looking forward to reviewing the proposals in this fund also. So that's why I'm here to know more about this DAO aspect.
Great.
Thank you.
Cool. This is exactly the purpose of the challenge team, is to create this platform for proposers, for community advisors. Now I see that they maybe change the name for proposer assessors, and for other people interested in this subject. So it's very. I'm really glad to see this happening. Tigegni, have you fixed your problem? Can you
hear me now?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I guess I'm listening to all of you. You are all highly technical people with lawyers and PhDs, but I'm none of them. I guess I'm representing the community. I've been talking to Dan for a long time now. I am from Ethiopia, and I live in Sweden now. But I've been interested very much to organize at the grassroots level with DAO, to experiment with DAOs. We have in Ethiopia an organization, a grassroots organization called EDDERS. These are a self-sustained organization that basically have no connection with government or with any entity, in fact, with any NGO or anyone. They self-sustain, and they are member funded and member driven organizations. They have about 90% prevalence in the country. That means about 100 million people. But these organizations, they can't really scale much. They don't have much more, I think 300 or 400 people they can manage to handle. More than that, they get into trouble. So they split up and yeah, they form new ones. So that means they can't really scale, they can't really give service that they could achieve, they could give. So I wanted to really use the DAO tools to scale these organizations up to their full potential. And I was having a bit of problem really explaining these organizations, because some people want to give money or something. No, they don't need money because they use their own funds. They don't receive anything. So that's an important part of those organizations. And a few days ago, I came across one paper written by Vitalik and the guy from Radical Exchange. I don't know if you all have seen that. And it was really a kind of, that is the organization really that I'm looking for. I don't know if I will link the paper to you. And I would very much like your help, all of you, with really making this thing work for everyone, because this is really the people that we are trying to help. In fact, when we talk about Cardano, that's what we are trying to help. Mostly all the tools being built are for, we know, for those who are technically savvy people, or for those with probably at least with a master's degree or PhD. But Cardano is trying to help the people that really unbanked people and unregistered people. And I think building tools, for example, identity systems that can be kind of with social recovery and such things, is an important thing. So I hope you all will think about this while you are doing your job. I'm not a developer, so I can't really tell you what to do. So I don't know what needs to be done. And especially, I'm very happy there is a legal expert among us. And I hope you'll be here to advise us more in the future while we are going forward. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, another way to bring this technology and this set of mind into real people in the real world to face real problem. And also, as far I remember a little bit about your work at Tegania, that we can also get inspiration from real communities that operate in a decentralized manner without using these words, maybe, in this traditional way in Ethiopia. It's very fascinating. And yeah, I really hope that you can find a way to bring it to this fund and get the community behind you.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Aaron. I think that getting inspiration from human organizations of all types, where we've tried to organize ourselves, whether it's a co-op or whether it's these IDIRs, the real purpose, I think, of DAOs is about how to create connecting people into virtual communities. And by that, we need to be informed by all the different ways that humans like to coordinate themselves. And it's not about trying to building a new kind of organization. It's about using the same organizations that we already have, but facilitating their interactions in ways that allow them to be connected in larger numbers, but also coordinated across geographic boundaries. Obviously, that's the advantage that the internet has brought us, but we're really struggling now, I think, because we have whole populations that need to start coordinating. And boy, if without having structures to do that and to help us organize ourselves, we're really floundering. You know, I think we have an opportunity, a huge opportunity. In fact, I think this DAO space is probably the best way that humanity has of coordinating its efforts and finally solving some of this fundamental problems that we've been facing. Because in the past, in the very recent past, certainly in my lifetime, you know, you had a half a dozen friends and now you've got several billion, you know, it's unbelievable. So we have a lot to do, but I think it should be inspired, like you said, around the nature of existing organizations and coordinating ourselves in ways that match the way we want to organize ourselves.
Yeah, totally. The possibilities are limitless with the DAOs, right? And you know, they do provide an organization for groups of people around the world that's almost akin to setting up a company, right? But obviously, when you set up a company, there's so much legal paperwork, so many fees every year. You know, even just winding down the company can be a very expensive process, right? So for a lot of people, they don't want to get into that big headache. So then, how do we give them the structure so they can operate a decentralized organization or even a company? I think that the DAO can definitely help with that.
Yeah, I think that's the design criteria. I mean, this is a big effort in kind of design thinking around how do we organize ourselves, and then how do we build the structures that allow. I mean, you could probably build an autocratic DAO if you wanted to, but you know, who really needs that, and is that the real solution? But we need the tools. Yeah, Logan.
I'm sorry about the noise in the background. I'll ask the question quick. We're really trying to look into and find people that can help us out with looking into the future of regulations of DAOs. So, I mean, we're building this DAO infrastructure and we want to do it compliantly. Obviously, you know, there's like the Wyoming and there's like Delaware, and there's all these different things to think about when regulating DAOs, especially if they're, you know, the DAO is holding securities in their treasury, and the utility token also has a money-making aspect to it. I'm getting my windows replaced, so it's loud. But yeah, I mean, if there's anyone that can provide any insight in that, I would love to just learn more from you. I know that I didn't catch your name because I hopped on later, but I see IB. I would love to maybe chat with you about what you're finding and learning. And I think it's just important that we do it in such a way where we don't piss governments off when everyone starts making decentralized organizations instead of LLCs and C corps.
My answer today is I don't know, because I'm still learning and reading, and I think there's an international comparative study that ought to be carried out. I'm doing some of it, I would say, very not detailed, because my thesis is not on that particular subject. It's on the legal and tax framework of utility token. But I have to touch upon the DAO necessarily in my, you know, at the end of the thesis, basically on future perspective. Now, I have probably gazillion pages of regulation to read. Legislation is changing pretty much every other week in every other country on planet Earth, left, right, and center right now. The OECD is very much looking at trying to get its dirty hands, and I'm very conscious I'm being recorded right now, but it's dirty hands on regulating blockchain and any related activity. The EU is also looking at regulating that, and of course the SEC and, you know, all the authorities in the US are fighting to know who's going to be ruling over regulation for crypto-related activities, utility token, and DAOs. So I don't have the answer right now. Sorry, Logan, for disappointing. But that's months of work, and I guess that's why we're all here. Baby steps. Because once we have smart goals, then we can, you know, put a dot on the horizon and reach that goal, ultimate goal, through maybe for 9, 10, 11, 12, 20, whatever it takes, right? My idea of a starting point would be probably to gather as many lawyers, you know, attorneys, whoever is in this community, to just join forces and maybe have a legal task force, look at legislation, regulation, existing and then try to define what the future trend would be. I think that would be a first step.
This
with
will
regard
be-
to a kind of practical, with regard to some practical, steps on moving ahead, the way that our organization has coordinated is basically building an international foundation, and the membership of the foundation will correlate with the membership of the organization or the members of the international structure. And so it really is totally decentralized. It's managed and operated by everyone everywhere in the world who are coordinated around this activity. And it really doesn't have a legal jurisdiction at this point. I mean, at the point where the membership controls it from all over the world, then it really is kind of out of the realm of current jurisdiction. And there probably will be some desires and needs to provide some kind of regulation, because it can probably be misused. But in the meantime, until we find the way of moving ahead, I think I'm in favor of moving toward decentralized organizations that are just governed by individuals all over the world, and providing good, flexible but responsible structures for how to coordinate them, and not to worry too much about how it's going to come down on us. I often have said, because I had the great fortune to meet and work with our Buckminster Fuller when I was a kid, a teenager, and I just mentioned that because not in any way to kind of just to basically identify myself and wanting to perpetuate the way he was thinking globally and interacting with people globally. I think that's some ideas that are going to be lost if we don't talk about them more actively. And I think moving toward global cooperation and structures for global cooperation, rather than nation states and organizations that are trying to control people geographically, I think it's obsolete, and I think it will prove to be true. But we need just to move ahead with organizing ourselves the best ways we can.
Anyway, I agree that the legal aspect is a huge challenge, and I would be very happy to see some proposals in the next fund that will address it.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm sorry, guys, I have to go, unfortunately, because I have a child crisis to handle. But it was a pleasure meeting you all, and I'll see you, I guess, next week.
Just before you go, I'm sorry, I missed your name. How to?
I'll write it in the chat.
Okay.
My name is Izzat Begum Rajan.
Izzat Begum. Okay.
Yeah, but everybody calls me Izzat.
Izzat. Okay. This I can remember. Okay. If it's fine by everyone, maybe we can all wrap up. It was a very long meeting. We will continue. I won't be here next week, but Dan, Harsha, maybe Newman from the team will continue, and it is just the beginning of this conversation.
Yeah, right. I look forward to having and invite you all to come back every week. I may be difficult to join us next week. I'll be at the Consensus conference, and I don't know exactly how it coordinates with my schedule, but yeah, I hope to see you all again soon.
Okay, see you guys.
But one thing, Harsha, I just wanted to, before, let's just try the Miro board. Can you just try to share your screen and see if we can get that Miro board thing that we could share? Because I just want to make sure we've got this working.
Maybe we can try next week. Harsha, you are muted.
So I thought more importantly, we can fill out the collaboration form so that we have everyone on there so that people can get in touch with each other. I thought that was a little more important.
Good.
What do you think?
Okay, great.
Yeah,
I shared the link to the Google form in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's always in a Google chat? What?
No, in the chat, the Google form in the
Okay.
chat.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, it should be
Okay.
really easy to get to because no one's going to sign up if they have to search through to find things.
I'll post it again. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
We have, okay. So we will continue there.
Okay. Thank you, Aaron. If you have to leave, that's okay. I guess if that doesn't crash us all.
No, I get, but I believe it will just stop the recording. So the recording will end now,
Okay.
and we will continue later. Okay, so
Great.
goodbye,
All
everyone.
right. Thank you. Bye-bye, Aaron. See you later.